All right, we are jumping right into what might just be the most mind-boggling return in mixed martial arts history. We're breaking down the night Ronda Rousey stepped back into the cage to face the original pioneer of women's MMA, Gina Carano. The atmosphere inside the Intuit Dome, absolutely electric. Millions streaming globally on Netflix, everyone just waiting to see what happens when these two titans finally collide. I mean, the energy was literally off the charts, the anticipation was at a complete fever pitch, and well, the outcome is something nobody is going to forget anytime soon. 17 seconds. Let that sink in for a moment. That is literally the blink of an eye, and that is all it took for this massive, historic featherweight bout to reach its climax. The bell rings, the crowd absolutely screams, and before you can even settle into your seat, it's over. The speed, the pure aggression, the absolute blinding suddenness of it all, it left everyone completely breathless. I mean, it was over almost before it even began. So, how did those 17 seconds actually unfold? 1, 2, 3, bam, bam. Rousey didn't waste a single millisecond. She instantly ducked straight into Carano's hips for a flawless takedown. From there, she immediately passed right into full mount, totally suffocating any defense. And then, the grand finale. She seamlessly transitioned into that signature armbar. Gina Carano literally could not throw a single punch, not one. Rousey's execution was utterly ruthless, incredibly precise, and terrifyingly fast. Section 1. Decades in the making. The long road to the Intuit Dome. Now, to really grasp the gravity of those 17 seconds, we have to rewind the clock. This wasn't just a fight. This was a collision of entirely different eras in combat sports. It's a matchup fans have literally been dreaming about for the better part of 20 years. The sheer weight of the years here is staggering. Think about this for a second. Gina Carano had not stepped foot in a professional cage since 2009. And Ronda Rousey? We all know how she fundamentally changed the UFC's stance on women's MMA back in 2013, but her initial exit was really rough. Devastating knockout losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes in 2015 and 2016, followed by a total distance from MMA. A decade of silence. Then, in 2026, this massive Netflix broadcast brings them both right back into the spotlight. But when you look at what it actually took to make this fight a reality, man, it is genuinely heartbreaking in some ways. Gina Carano, at 44 years old, after accepting Rousey's proposal in late 2024, put her body through an absolutely grueling process to lose 100 pounds. 100 pounds! Just to make the walk again, after a 17-year absence. And Ronda Rousey, now 39, stepping back in after a 10-year gap to face the ghosts of her own exit. The physical toll of aging in combat sports is completely unforgiving. Seeing the absolute sacrifice required just for these two to stand across from each other, it is incredibly sobering. Section 2. The art of the armbar. The emotional aftermath. As the referee stepped in to wave off the fight, the physical violence ended, but the emotional floodgates just blew wide open. What happened next revealed a really stark contrast between these two fighters. They just shared the exact same 17 seconds, right? But their takeaways could not have been more different. Listen to Carano's profound disappointment. She said, "I wanted that to last longer. I was so ready. I felt so good. I haven't competed in 17 years. I wanted to hit her." You can literally hear the ache in those words. After all that sacrifice, all that grueling weight loss, it was over before she could even express herself. But even through that heavy disappointment, she still recognized the victory in simply making the walk. Fighting a legend, getting back in there at 44. She told the world, "I just wanted to fight." It is such a bittersweet, deeply human moment. Now, on the other side of the cage, Ronda Rousey found something completely different. She found closure. Listen to her words. "I was hoping to come out as unscathed as possible. I didn't really want to hurt her. It was beautiful martial arts. That's what I think that was. It was art." There's this incredibly serene, peaceful quality to that statement, isn't there? This event was her chance to rewrite her ending, to wash away those brutal knockouts from 2015 and 2016. And with that flawless, artistic submission, she finally found her peace. Afterward, she definitively stated she will never fight again. A perfect final exit. Section 3. A new MMA era? The Business of Violence on Netflix. All right, we've covered the athletes and the heavy emotions, but now we absolutely have to talk about the business side. Because the shockwaves from this 17-second fight, they are violently disrupting the entire combat sports industry. Remember, this was Jake Paul's most valuable promotions, putting on their very first MMA card, streaming globally on Netflix. Rousey actually tried to make her comeback with the UFC first, but she hit major roadblocks when the UFC moved to Paramount and shifted away from its long-standing pay-per-view model. Rousey actually ended up viewing the UFC as an opponent on the business side. So enter the MVP and Netflix model. Immediate global streaming access, no separate paywall, and record-breaking viewership for an MMA event. Guys, this is a complete paradigm shift in how fights are delivered to the masses. The sheer scale of what Jake Paul and MVP just accomplished here is mind-blowing. This wasn't some novelty act. This was MVP's MMA debut, and they completely stacked the deck. Not only did they have Rousey and Carano, but the card featured massive ex-UFC stars like Diaz and Francis Ngannou, who both earned huge wins. And to top it all off, Ronda Rousey herself is now actively considering staying involved in the MMA space as a promoter for MVP. It's wild. They are building an absolute powerhouse roster and fundamentally challenging the old guard. And Jake Paul definitely did not mince words when addressing that established order. Sitting right there in attendance, basking in one of the most viewed MMA events in history, he looked straight into the camera and sent a direct, undeniable threat to UFC CEO Dana White. He said, "MVP is just getting warmed up. You'll see more of us. Dana, be prepared, because this is the takeover." I mean, wow, that is a bold, aggressive declaration of war in the fight promotion business. Which leaves us with this final, lingering question to ponder. With MVP and Netflix pulling off a record-breaking debut, capturing the entire world's attention, and actively poaching the biggest names in the sport's history, are we actually witnessing the sunset of the UFC's absolute monopoly? As the global broadcast models shift and the balance of power teeters, the fight outside the cage might just become far more brutal than the fights inside it. Think about that.